Hey guys, it's Dush and Lockie from the SBP podcast. Today we're talking about web design and everything you need to know in 2019 if you've got a website. All right, so a challenge that I see a lot of people kind of heading into 2019 and 2020 is just the whole topic around what their website needs to be doing and how they leverage some of these new tools and everything like that. So today what we're going to be talking about is more or less what to look out for in 2019 and how you can manage some of the content and everything like that. Right, Lucky?
Yeah, sure. Obviously, there's plenty of new technology out there that can assist you with managing your website, engaging with people who are coming through to your website. So I guess being on top of that technology and how that could be integrated with your marketing strategy is important. And yeah, simply just want to be here, I guess, share those tools out and present people with different opportunities that they have to, I guess, change up their website strategy.
100%. I guess the first thing that we're going to explore is chatbots really quickly. I literally just got an email about 2 days ago from HubSpot around how it said something around increasing your revenue streams in 2020 using chatbots. And I kind of had a read about it. And the whole idea that they were going on about is how using a chatbot on your website. So those are those little, it's like the little Facebook Messenger looking chat that would pop up in most websites in the bottom right or left corner. So leveraging these chatbots is actually increasing a lot of businesses' bottom lines, just purely because it's acting as a 24-hour salesperson and handling a lot of just general questions that people would have, especially because they're shopping around 24/7 and everything like that. What are your thoughts on this, Lockie?
Definitely a lot of opportunity for businesses to use it there. And I guess just to clarify on what you're saying there is the messenger type service on most websites, it's actually an automated conversation. So the chatbot component of it is a background, I guess, AI that's working to respond to these inquiries. You've either set up pathways of inquiries that people can go down, or the chatbot will kind of work for you to, I guess, answer that person's inquiry. So you don't actually have to have that person on the back end manning the chat service. So that's something that I think is the big game changer in that, is that, like you said, you can be engaging, having conversations with your clients all the time without actually physically having to put in the hours to do it. So it's a big thing in terms of opening up that communication. Say if people just had a general inquiry that they wanted to flick to you, a lot of the time they wouldn't be expecting that chat service to be an instant response, or it falls down into an email and they wait a couple of days for a response. Whereas now they actually are going to be, the expectations probably going to flip a bit in terms of website users because of these chatbots becoming more, I guess, used across the web, and obviously will open up more opportunity on your website to start having those conversations with people who are coming through, and it'll, I guess, stop it from being more of a shop front to an actual store where people can come in and engage with you.
Have an interaction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Two things that I quickly wanted to mention just before we move into some of the other topics that we wanted to talk about. Some of the tools, I guess, in the chatbot world to look out for, I'd say number one, it's probably both of these two are kind of like a close fight or battle for number one, but Facebook Messenger and HubSpot chatbot, I think those are kind of the two leading leading providers of chatbots in that space. The other thing that I wanted to mention was the experience on the back end and on how you actually make one of these chatbots work. If you've ever created a Google form or something like that where you're trying to get a couple of fields filled in by someone, building a chatbot is more or less that, but you're adding a little conversational part to what's happening. So it's like step one, you're asking for someone's question for some sort of conversational topic. And then step two, you move on to their phone number and everything like that. And ultimately you're having a conversation, but you're also gathering some data that's ultimately a lead for your business. So that's the two quick things that I want to mention there. Moving on. The other thing close to chatbots that I think is really worth using, and sometimes these are actually integrated in with chatbots, is appointment setting tools. What are your thoughts on this, Lucky? Like, I think you've experimented with a couple, like Calendly and things like that, right?
I think it's another, I guess, big point and change where the websites are going to stop being that storefront feeling and opening up the doors where interactions are actually going to be happening on more sites where these things are used right. So rather than having to, go and grab an email and then go take the conversation to email, you can on the site be having conversations with sales reps or getting your inquiries answered, as well as setting in and actually booking an appointment rather than having to take that and go back and forth on email with someone, which we all know can be very time consuming. So I think that's one great thing about it. And the other thing is Facebook has recently also jumped on that and made it available for businesses to allow appointment setting through their business pages. So
I saw at the top you can actually book an appointment.
Exactly. So I think we're going to be seeing more of that, just simply because it makes sense in the sense of saving time on that back and forth with your clients or customers trying to book in a good time for both of you. You can simply just share your calendar and let them choose a day.
Yeah, and if you look at it from a sales hat on, like, conversion rates would probably be going through the roof compared to 4 or 5 back and forth emails. Imagine giving a potential lead or customer just the ultimate power for them to look into your calendar and book in a time that suits them.
Yeah, you won't lose those. I guess have those drop offs here and there. So yeah, great stuff.
100%. Moving on, this is probably an area that, Lockie, you've been messing around with for the last 2 or 3 odd weeks. Zapier. So to my understanding, Zapier is kind of like a tool that helps you link different pieces of software around, in the not just sales and marketing, just all sorts of software products that businesses are using now, helps you link them two together to kind of help them communicate data amongst each other, kind of thing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've been doing on there and kind of, how maybe some of these guys could be leveraging Zapier as well?
I guess really Zapier comes down to making systems talk to each other. And it's not just, I guess, your internal systems. It could be things like your Facebook, your email, all kinds of, I guess, programs that you're working across or taking things from. For example, a lot of the time we'll take our YouTube videos over to our blog and post them on our blog. Zapier is a tool where when you can create zaps or automations, really, that will automatically obviously do that base level of work for you in going and posting it on the blog. Obviously, there still might be some tweaking that you have to do later on before that post looks perfect, but
gets a bulk of the work done.
Yeah, gets a bulk of the work done, and you saving those few minutes here and there and automating a number of tasks can allow you to focus more time on the important things like writing the description. You're not having to just spend time grabbing a link, putting it onto the blog, doing tedious things like that, or even creating the new blog post. It's all there for you so that you can just come in, finalize the description and hit post. So I think things like that throughout your marketing or throughout any operations is handy to look out for automations where things that are a bit tedious can get done automatically. There's plenty of opportunity, and like just to, I guess, name a few things that you can do. You can have content go directly from spreadsheets in Google Drive out to your Facebook. So you could use that to schedule, posts in. You could, as I said, take videos or from automatically YouTube, post onto your blog.
I think if you were to look into more, if we were moving on from marketing and looking even just quickly on some of the other things it could do in business, an example that I've had is using a Google form and linking it with Asana, so that once a potential client's filling out a brief or something like that and they've submitted it, it actually launches a project within Asana and sets out tasks. Yeah, so it's really powerful, and if you're in business and you're a bit of a techie kind of person, definitely check it out and see what you could kind of play around.
And even on Zapier itself, if you're just looking up your just have a search across the systems that you have already.
Just the
and they've got a number
tools,
of Zaps that have been commonly used. And you can search Zaps between two existing systems, and it'll show you the examples. So it'll get your ideas running even then on what type of things you could do, and the kind of relations you can create between your two existing systems.
100%. Moving on, the next thing that's closely related, probably a whole topic in itself, but it's the idea of understanding what's happening behind your website with tools like Google Analytics, Facebook Pixel, LinkedIn's got a Pixel of its own. So it's all the data and understanding how it's working on the back end. So there's a whole bunch of tools to be able to do this. So if you haven't already, definitely kind of either talk to your web developer about it, or just go in yourself and start playing around with just all that Google Analytics, Google, what's the other one? Google AdWords, all the pixels and everything like that. Definitely worth checking out, because there's just a whole bunch of kind of things you can start understanding about what your potential customers are doing there, and kind of make decisions moving forward on what you could kind of change about the website and everything like that.
And I guess it's about measuring the ROI. Like if you're running AdWords campaigns or Facebook ad campaigns, you can't measure the ROI until you've installed these tracking in terms of if people actually are getting to your website and viewing the pages, things like conversions. So you can set up conversion tracking and events that allow you to know when from a particular ad campaign someone's gone and either inquired or made a purchase. So it's really about ensuring that you're getting a good ROI from your advertising campaigns. And if you don't have that tracking installed, you're really just throwing money out the window, hoping that it's going to come back to you. So I'd definitely say from the starting point, and when you're running ads, you definitely should be setting up the tracking. And then, like you said, it's also able to present other opportunities. So one massive thing is the audience data that Facebook collects from your site. You're able to go and build new audiences, such as lookalike audiences. You're able to go into that data and start looking at the interests or other information that's collected from the people who are going to your site, and just get a better understanding of those audiences. So there's plenty of opportunities, but it starts with obviously having it all set up. So have a chat to your web developer and make sure that it's set up and running right, so that you later on, when you've got that chance and that time, that the information's already there.
Just one quick one before we move on to the next bits, because we've actually got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about content, is HubSpot. HubSpot's integration with WordPress is amazing. So everything related to Google Analytics, Facebook, and everything like that. The integration, if you are a HubSpot user, once you set that up with WordPress, it gives you all of that data. So for example, when you generate a lead, you can know exactly what pages people were on your website. You could know if they came through a Google Ads campaign or through SEO or through, if it was a Google ad or something like that. So definitely check the HubSpot integration out as well, while we're touching on that topic. So moving on, I think if we were to go through everything that we have in this next bit, we'll probably have to make 2 or 3 videos about it. So let's try summarize some of the things that we're looking at. The topic that we wanted to explore is the content and what you need to do with content on your website. And I guess the starting point on how to even look at it, what lens to look at all of this through, is understanding what kind of content can drive an ROI for your business and, make positive impact in front of your audience, right? So that's the type of content you need to be thinking about. What are your thoughts on this, Lockie? What would you say is some of the most important kind of things to look at? Because you're more of a marketer than me, right? So,
I guess in terms of content, it's an interesting thing because these days people have been misguided in sense of where content sits in amongst the internet and social media. And when they're making content, a lot of the time they're actually in the mind frame of, it's going to be on social media, it has to be viral. But the most valuable content that we generally find is the content that's sitting on people's websites, because that's where their customers are going and reading. And obviously that's the point in where customers are gaining information to help them with their purchase decisions. So what we say is things like case studies, testimonials, like your About Us page, and where you could be showing off your company culture. Like that's the aspects for like in the early days when you got a small business, they're the parts that are going to be more important because you'll be able to share that content with your customers, or they'll go and find it anyway. When you grow and you have a big audience or a big following, then the other pieces do become a bit more relevant because they're actually going to be getting that reach to, drive new business for you. But really in the early days, where you have a small following on your Facebook, unless you're putting a massive budget behind a piece of content, it's not going to reach that massive audience to really drive a big impact for your business. So you should be focusing on more down the funnel type pieces,
lower hanging fruit
that increase your conversion. So that's an immediate impact for you. If you're dealing with 10 people and you were only being able to convert 2 or 3 of them before, and now you're able to convert 5 of them, that's an immediate impact. Whereas who knows how many people you might have to drive from a new advert to result in a sale. So I guess starting from that bottom, increasing your conversions on your site, and then working your way up in terms of like what's going to generate the most return, and then looking at the other pieces of opportunity in content creation.
So if you were, I mean, I'm just going to go off the top of my head, but if you were to kind of prioritize some of the things and how that could work on your website, it's first starting off with kind of going, all right, how does the sales work in our business? It's probably, there's a lot of manual sales, HR related efforts there. So what you need to do is, all right, cool, what's going to strengthen that, and how's our website going to play into strengthening that we're already doing? So maybe it's just having a website that's got the right information about your business is the first step. So that's just good copy in a way that just, says enough information about your business so that a person can easily understand what you do, why you're different, and everything like that. So that's the first stage. The next stage that you could look at when someone comes to our website and they're understanding what we do and everything like that, the next thing that can kind of step your kind of game up is maybe the visual aspect around the photography, right? So a lot of people will be thinking, all right, yeah, stock images, that makes us look nice and pretty and everything like that. But I guess in 2019, that actually won't help you out. What will help you out is having just that simple run of an image bank where it's original images from your business, your people, and everything like that, right?
Yeah.
And then if you take another step up, that's probably where this topic of video comes into play.
I guess what's come about recently has been a lot more efficiency is being looked for in terms of content creation. Really on Facebook, the value of content is found in pushing it out through advertising or advertising spends. Again, unless you've got massive audience followings or a big brand, you really don't have that audience already there to justify spending a lot of time or money on content. So if you're making a piece, you may as well make the most of that effort. So again, it's about, if we're going to go into a production or spend time or money towards it, why not make that big production and break it up into other pieces that I can, continue that engagement and continue that reach without, further investment. So that's where I guess it's come from. But a lot of people are loving it. Like, for example, we break up our podcasts into little snippets that we share into social media, and we've gotten a lot of engagement from that. And obviously the aim is to then draw people back to the main podcast. But again, that's still reach that we're gaining on our Facebook as well. So really it's about looking to maximize the opportunity of going and taking that effort of creating content and saying, how could I snippet this out and push it out to other channels to really maximize those moments that really are valuable for your business.
Yeah. And I think the only thing that's really needed from a business owner's point of view or a marketer's point of view is just a proactive approach to kind of thinking about content. And you'll probably come across all these type of opportunities, I guess, in how you could make content. So what we've checked out today is the tools that you could be leveraging when it comes to your website. So things like the chatbots and appointment setting tools, what you could do on Zapier. And then we explored a little bit of content. Is there any kind of final things that you wanted to add today, Lockie, before we kind of wrap it up and call it a day?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah, I mean, obviously utilizing tools to minimize the amount of time and focus on the other areas of marketing that really are important. That's one thing that we've been doing a lot lately, is the areas that make the biggest difference and minimizing the tedious tasks. And then looking at your content again in the same lens to look for how you can maximize minimal input but get maximum output from your content or your content creation efforts.
And if we were to put that business owner's hat back on for a second again, one of the things that we were speaking about yesterday was the idea of when you go to do something new or you're kind of adding a new element to your business, it's about, there's a whole bunch of barriers to entry and things like that on how you get started on, say, for example, something simple like doing a podcast. You need to film it, you need to edit it, you need to try to get it out to YouTube and snippets for LinkedIn and everything like that. So a little way you could start thinking about all this when it comes to managing a website and everything like that is get it done once the way that you want to do it, with the kind of figuring out the technicalities and everything like that as the first time around you're doing it. But once you've done it once, the goal should be to remove as much of the technicalities as you can are associated to getting that thing done, so that moving forward the second, third, fourth time, you've kind of set yourself up with a little system, I guess, in being able to do it over and over again. So it's just about setting up a little system for yourself in whatever it is that you're going to do, so you can kind of keep doing it in the future, right?
Yeah.
But thanks for tuning in, guys. Until next time, we're Dush and Lucky, and we're from the SBP podcast. Bye.